Ladies and gentlemen, Andy here. I went from depressed and suicidal to living a life of abundance and joy. If I can do it, you sure as hell can too. It's a little bit dark in my apartment. It's a little bit early. I woke up at 3 a.m. this morning because there was a fire alarm off in my building, and I thought I would sit down, do a little bit of content because I couldn't get back to sleep. So let's jump straight into it. I got this comment, this kick-ass comment here from Andreas Alki5724. Andy, can't tell you how much I appreciate this video. I felt like shit today. I didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't want to stay in either. I got up, made a plan, cleaned my apartment, and it feels so much better now. Thank you. I love when I get a comment like this where someone is literally telling me or celebrating a win that they had, especially when it seems like such a small win on the surface. It's just this guy got out of bed and cleaned his apartment a little bit. But understand that these small victories are what lead us to our massive, big, ultimate achievements. If you're laying in bed one day and you just can't be bothered getting up, you just want to stay under the covers forever, and you're able to push yourself and get up and conquer the day and do something amazing, even if that something is just cleaning your apartment or going for a little bit of a walk, this is how dreams are built. This is how amazing shit happens. Marcus Aurelius, Stoic king, talked about this in his journal. He talked about feeling warm and comfortable under the covers and not wanting to get out of bed and not wanting to go and embrace the cold day and get out there and do something and having to push himself. And so if you're able to prove to yourself that even on your least motivating days, like this guy was going through, that you can still get out of bed and take some action and clean that apartment, even just some little tiny baby step like that, think what you'll be able to achieve on a day when you're feeling amazing, when everything's great, when you're feeling like kicking some ass. This is what I talk about when I say don't wait until, the right time. There is no right time. Don't wait until circumstances are perfect. If you're having a day where you're unmotivated, you don't want to do anything, you just want to lay around, and do nothing. If you're able to take some little baby step and take some sort of action, again, think what you'll be capable of on those amazing days when you're feeling really good. And so when you're feeling bad, when you're feeling unmotivated, when you're feeling lazy, when you're feeling like you don't want to do anything, if you can just do one tiny little baby step, like literally the smallest step that you could ever possibly take, like making your damn bed or getting out of bed and cleaning the dishes or something, just anything that is more than zero, that tiny little baby step, if you can stack those on top of each other and do one little baby step after that first baby step, and then another baby step, and then another baby step. And if you can be consistent over time with that, and it's okay to be inconsistent sometimes, but like if you can try and be as consistent as possible and build up your consistency over time, those small little baby steps add up to massive things in the end. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. It was literally just taking baby steps a little bit at a time. And at the start, it was things that seemed so pathetic to me that they didn't seem worth celebrating, like literally getting out of bed, literally being able to make my bed. And I slowly stacked on little baby steps on top of that. It was then cleaning the dishes, and then it was mopping the floor and vacuuming. And then eventually it was mowing the lawn and little bits like that. And I was very grateful that I had my parents. When I was depressed and my life fell apart, I went and moved back home with my parents, and they basically babied me for the first 2 weeks, as in they had to sort of babysit me. I was so depressed and suicidal. I was so grateful that they imbued me with this knowledge of baby steps. They were the ones that said, look, if all you can do today is get out of bed, then just do that. And then tomorrow we can work on vacuuming the floors or doing the dishes. And they just slowly gave me more and more tasks to do as I was able to do them, even though I didn't feel ready to do them. I didn't feel like I wanted to do them. I just wanted to die. And slowly we built that up until the point where, okay, now I can work on my resume. Okay, I really don't want to, but now I can go out and apply for some, just hand my resume to some different places. And then eventually I got a job, and then I made some friends, and then I started going out, and, the rest is history. That's how I went from depressed and suicidal to living the life of abundance and joy that I'm now very grateful for. It was literally just baby steps. So that is why I say when someone does something like what this guy did, feeling like shit and then being able to get out of bed and make a plan and clean that apartment, that's not a small thing. That's why I'm doing an entire video on just this comment, because I really want to highlight that A lot of you think that you have to climb this massive big mountain and achieve all of your goals all at once. And you think that something's not worth celebrating unless it's amazing. Obviously, amazing things are amazing to celebrate. Yeah, like if, some of you guys out there, if you go and have your very first threesome or something, that might be something that you just want to fucking scream from the rooftops. Holy shit, look at this big thing that I did. Or, some of you women listening, you might lose, I don't know, 10 pounds or something, 20 pounds, and you want to just yell that from the rooftops and say, look at this amazing achievement that I just had. Or some of you start a business and earn your first $1,000. That stuff is amazing to celebrate. But a lot of the time, or the way that you get to that point is with these tiny little victories, these tiny little baby steps, getting out of that bed, going and working on your resume, going to a meetup and trying to meet some new people and socializing, going for that first 10-minute walk so that you can start the process of losing weight. And some of these little baby steps at the start, they don't seem like they're doing very much. They don't seem very glamorous. It might not seem like a big deal to get out of bed and go and clean the apartment. That might be like, well, congratulations, you just did what most human beings do. Yeah, but this was more than zero. And this guy had an opportunity to do zero. He could have stayed in bed. Nobody would have even noticed. It's not like anyone was keeping him accountable. It's not like somebody was there with a clipboard checking and going, oh, this guy didn't get out of bed. We'll put a big cross next to his name. No, nothing bad would have happened if he stayed in bed all day. But he had an opportunity to get out of bed, to push himself a little bit, to strive for something a little bit more, to conquer the dirtiness of the apartment, so to speak, and to do something beautiful with that apartment and make it look a little more spick and span. And he did that. And so he did more than zero. And if you add up these little tiny victories, like I said, these little moments of I'm going to do slightly more than zero, added up over time, that's how you build something beautiful. Understand that everything that I have done, losing 77 pounds, overcoming depression and suicidal, ideations for God, like 10 years, 9 years, overcoming all of that, meeting my lovely girlfriend Imogen, having a whole lot of sex, dating and sleeping with women together with her, being with her for 6 years at this point and building everything that we've built, building this coaching business, getting this YouTube channel up to, we're now at like 8.3 thousand subs or whatever it is, getting to that point, building a Spotify podcast with, I think I've done like 600 episodes or something at this point, building my blog and writing the Tinder guide, which was 130,000 words, doing the video courses, all the stuff that I've done, right? Like all of that stuff was just a consequence of, or it was almost a side effect, a happy, beautiful little side effect of just doing little baby steps, and then beautiful things manifest from that. But it's just taking those little bits of action every single day, those moments where you could have stayed in bed, but instead you got up. And a relevant example for me recently, like over the last 5 years, is all of the moments where I could have not done a video or not written an article and nothing bad would have happened. Nobody would have noticed. You wouldn't notice if I didn't record a video one day. How would you know? And so I had all these moments where I could have not done a video or not written an article or not done a podcast. But instead I said, fuck it. Okay, I want to do this podcast. Let's bloody well do it then. Fine, I'll do it. I'll sit down and I'll do it. That's what this moment in time right this second is. This is me saying I could lay on the couch. There's a couch right in front of me that I was laying on this morning. I just told you that I woke up at 3 a.m. from the fire alarm thing going off in my building. I could have laid on that couch. None of you would have noticed. My girlfriend wouldn't notice because she's not here. My parents wouldn't fucking notice. My coaching clients wouldn't notice. Literally nobody in the world would notice. My friends wouldn't notice. Nobody would notice that I'm on that couch. But I would know. And so I ask myself in that moment, just like this guy did, what do I actually want? Do I want to lay here on this couch? Or in this guy's case, does he want to lay here in bed? And the answer that obviously came up for him and the answer that came up for me was, no, I want to get up. I want to go and seize the day, carpe fucking diem. I want to do something amazing today. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take that little baby step. And a big part of this process is humility. This guy is the king of, this is going to sound like a funny statement, isn't it? This guy is the best guy in the entire world. He's the king of humility. This guy is the best at humility in the entire world. I'm making a joke, but This guy clearly understands humility, because it does require some humility to say, okay, fuck it, man. Like, I really don't want to do anything today. What if I just clean my goddamn apartment? That requires humility, because your ego, your defensiveness, your ego is going to want you to do amazing big things. And your ego might kick in and say, cleaning the apartment isn't jack shit. What's the point? I may as well lay in bed. Unless I'm going to go outside and do something amazing today, it's not good enough. There's no point getting out of bed. It would just, like, what's the point? I may as well just stay here. And that's the fallacy that the vast majority of human beings make. It's why they have New Year's resolutions, because they believe that change has to be this big, powerful, amazing, all in, over the top, all at once thing. And it's wonderful to go all in. In fact, I encourage it. But I phrase it like this. I say, do little baby steps, take little baby steps. Yes, go all in, but start with little baby steps. Yes, be committed to your self-improvement and to your growth and to your self-love, but start with tiny little baby steps. Don't overwhelm yourself by thinking that you have to make a New Year's resolution and this is the year I'm going to lose 77 pounds. No, you're fucking not. This is the year where, statistically speaking, every single year, 90 something% of people fail their New Year's resolutions within the first month too. It's not like they even get halfway through the year and then drop off or make it like 8 months of the way through the year. No, they stop within a month. I mean, I think something insane like 50% or 30% or something stop within the first 2 weeks. So it's like New Year's Eve or January 1st, I guess, you get your little fucking dick all hard, and if you're a woman, you get your pussy all wet, you're all fucking turned on and ready to go. You're like, look at me, I'm fucking hard and wet and ready to just fucking crush this year. Fuck yeah. Yeah, fuck yeah. And then 2 weeks later, you're like, oh, I don't like this. I'm going to stop now. Fuck it. I'll go back to Netflix and the couch and doing whatever it was that I was doing the year before that made me miserable and unhappy enough to set this New Year's resolution. But I'll forget all of that and I'll settle back into complacency, because most people overwhelm themselves with their New Year's resolution. So it's not that they're lazy. It's not that there's anything wrong with them. It's that they've set the goal too high. They've set the bar too high. They've told themselves, this is the year where I change. This is the year where I somehow rewrite 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 years of habit. And I'm just going to magically do that all at once. So I've built this habit of, not going after my goals or not losing weight or not getting my sex life and romantic life in order or whatever it might be. I've built this habit over my entire life, and somehow I'm going to break that habit just like that. Fuck that. And so you start with baby steps. The way that we reprogram our mind, we are creatures of habit. And the way that we reprogram that is slow and steady, little baby steps, little habits, If you just say, I'm going to get out of bed today and conquer the world, and I'm going to start a business today, and I'm going to make $1 million and all of this kind of shit, your brain knows that you're full of shit when you say that. And even if you give it everything you possibly have, if you don't have that foundation of just taking those little baby steps, like if you're trying to just do everything all at once, almost like cold turkey, without that basis of like, okay, I understand that I need to take some baby steps, that this is a series of steps and it will require some patience and it might require quite a bit of time. If you don't understand that and you think you're just suddenly going to lose weight in the first week or some shit, or you think you're going to start a business in the first day and just suddenly become a millionaire, you might, but statistically speaking, you're probably not going to. If you don't have that foundation of baby steps, it's inevitable that your brain is just going to go, wow, I was really full of shit when I said that I was just going to, change my life this 1 year. And obviously there is some beauty in the idea of getting to that fuck it moment where you say, fuck it, I'm going to change. So I'm not saying don't have a New Year's resolution. I'm not saying don't have that moment where you go, fuck it, this is the moment where I change. I'm not saying don't do that, but I'm saying when you have that moment, if you have that feeling of, all right, New Year's resolutions, which are coming up pretty soon, right? We're getting towards the new year. If you have that impetus or that impulse, that drive, that catalyst to do something beautiful and set that New Year's resolution, please, please, please have the foundation of baby steps and taking small baby steps like this guy did. So again, I love this comment. Baby steps, one little thing at a time. This is exactly what I talk about in my video course. I'm talking about this video course, the Play to Win video course. So I'll leave a link in the description below to that. You can pay whatever you want for that, even $1. but I talk through a lot of like how to set goals. I literally have an entire chapter on like how to set goals, and I have another chapter on how to keep yourself accountable. I have another chapter on what to do if you have a setback or, you're not making progress with your goal. I have another chapter on how to embrace or overcome I guess embrace is the word I like, embrace the fear around setting a goal. So I highly recommend this video course for all of the stuff we're talking about. But again, man, what a beautiful comment. I want to give this guy a big fucking high five. I told him I'd do a video on this, and here's that video. So good job, Andreas Alki5724. And anyone else out there who's feeling the same, you're feeling like you don't want to get out of bed today, or you're, putting this pressure on yourself that you have to do everything all at once. And, what's even the point of getting out of bed? What's even the point of going for a walk if it's not going to, massively change my life all at once? No, it will change your life if you stack it upon a lot of other baby steps. So one little baby step by itself, it might not seem like it's doing much, but it is the foundation, it is the habit that will get you to that goal. Again, to really underline this, everything I have ever achieved, ever, no exceptions to this, has been by a series of baby steps. I don't think I have achieved a single thing by just making some big, massive leap and then going, wow, I did it all at once. No, every single thing I have done has been tiny little baby steps. And that has required humility. That has required me embracing the idea that this little baby step I'm doing today won't change the world. It won't change my life. It won't really do much of anything, but it'll move me forwards just that tiny little bit, that 0.0001% improvement. And if I just stack up enough of these, it's basically a numbers game. It's like do enough of these, play the numbers game, do enough of these little baby steps and add it up over time. That's where you get your 100% increases or your 1000% increases, whether that's money, sex, relationships, dating, love, peace, happiness, enlightenment, losing weight, whatever it might be. It's a series of little baby steps. And every single coach will tell you this, every therapist will tell you this, every entrepreneur, every guru, every person giving advice will tell you this. They'll say, yeah, it's a series of like actions. It's consistency over a decently long enough period of time. And part of that is having the humility, or you can use the word patience if you prefer that, having the humility or the patience to be okay with the fact that each one of those baby steps on its own doesn't seem like it's doing a whole lot, but together and added up over time, that's when you change the world.